Hey everyone, my name is Chris Green. If you are a Fender Studio Pro or Presonus Studio One user and you go in to add a new track and you have a window like this and you are skipping over this effects chain, you are wasting a ton of time. So I want to show you in today's video how to set up your own effects chain, how to create your own folder here. Like I've got one called Chris Green. I'm going to load in my CG default FX. So when I add a new track and that track has been added, I now have all of my favorite plugins ready to go, ready to engage. And I'm going to show you how you can do this all yourself using not only third-party plugins, but also stock plugins as well. Now, if you are into music production and you're looking for something free to download, I will be sharing that with you later in today's video. So make sure you stick around for more details on that. Now let's get started building our own effects chains. First and foremost, it is a stock plugin. This is just the stock tuner plugin. This is not doing anything active to my sounds as I'm recording music or anything like that, but it's just something that if I need to tune, that's readily available to me. So you will notice I do have the inspector tab open up on the side, and I do have this expanded view. So I can actually see with this plugin engaged, I can see stuff as I'm playing. If I'm recording bass guitar, anything DI, I want to be able to see if I'm in tune. So if you don't have access to seeing this expanded view, you can just click this little arrow here and it'll have an option for collapse or it'll have an option for expand. So I leave this one expanded and I do leave this one on because I do not believe it imparts any sort of tonality to my signal. It's just letting me know is what I'm playing in tune or not. Next is going to be a standard preset stock plugin. I use this all the time, and it is the Mix Tool plugin. It is essentially just a clip gain knob, but the reason I like using this, I will still use clip gain on individual audio tracks, but the problem with using clip gain on audio waveforms is that it becomes almost impossible to recall something. So if you are on your way through a mix, and you regret maybe some of the clip gain mistakes that you made, it's a lot more difficult to bypass your clip gain moves on the actual audio waveform than it is just to bypass the Mix Tool plugin. So if I need to overall just add this global amount of gain, let's say I recorded a vocal and that vocal needs 6 decibels of gain. Well, I can add 6 decibels of gain with this Mix Tool plugin. And then if I'm unhappy with that 6 decibels of gain that I've added, I can just simply bypass the plugin. I don't have to use the Mix Tool plugin, and now my track goes back to like it was. If you are doing clip gain on the actual audio waveform, like I said, it adds a lot more steps. It can get very, very complicated. Doesn't mean that you don't need to use clip gain on the audio waveform, but if you're looking for a global, just overall, you just need to bring up the track, this is a great way to go. Now, it's also got some polarity inversion stuff that you can use if you wanted to check phase of your different microphones or whatever it may be. So you can use those, of course, as needed. So by and large, I keep this thing ready and available for just a global gain staging set. Now, speaking of gain staging, the VU meter plugin, this one is a little bit cloudy to me about when it came out. So Studio One, Presonus Studio One users, you would have to go in and additionally download this. It didn't just come standard when you downloaded the software. You would need to go up to Studio Pro or Studio One and go to installation and then make sure you had the VU meter installed. It was kind of like an additional download that was available to you if you were a perpetual license user. Now I believe on Fender Studio Pro, I believe that it's available to everyone. You can let me know in the comments section if you don't have access to this, but I believe the VU meter is a great plugin to have specifically for that gain staging I was mentioning. So I have the scale set to 18. What that means is that when the needle of the VU meter is hovering around 0, 0 is actually going to equal negative 18 decibels. So when it comes to gain staging, a lot of times between negative 12 and negative 18 is a lot where these plugins are looking to hear audio from. If you're way less than negative 18, you definitely need to adjust the gain on your preamp or the output volume of your preamp. So I have this available. I do have this engaged. I have the sensitivity set to, the scale set to 18, and I do have it expanded on the side. So you'll notice this if you have my Home Studio Pro mix template. I have a VU meter on all the channels. That's because ideally, whatever instrument you are mixing, I want to see that needle hovering around 0 whenever it's hitting. That makes sure that my gain stage is where it should be. So I do have that enabled, just like I have the tuner plugin enabled as well. Now, as far as third-party plugins go, this is my first official third-party plugin I do want to mention, and this is from FabFilter. I think FabFilter is fantastic at what they do. You're going to see some more plugins from them as we go through the video, but the Gate plugin, I do find this to be superior to what the stock plugins that you get from Presonus and Fender Studio Pro are. It does have this look ahead function where I can enable up to 10 milliseconds, I believe. Yeah, 10 milliseconds of look ahead. It gives you a very good readout visually so you can see stuff as it's gating. And it does have some more advanced options if you want to go for narrowing in your frequencies or whatever it may be. I just find this one to be superior to the stock plugin. I can definitely say that, having been using this for quite some time. If any of this is new to you and you find yourself struggling a little bit with Fender Studio Pro, the best way for you to learn how to use the program is to actually open up someone else's session. So I have available to you the Nothing Less session. This is a full song that was recorded here in my home studio, and I built this entire session using what's called my Home Studio Pro mix template. I do have that linked below each of my videos. So if you're interested in loading up my mix template, it is built completely off of stock plugins in Fender Studio Pro. It's got VU meters in place, so your gain staging can be as close as possible to what I'm getting here in my home studio. And not only that, you're gonna have an entire song session with vocals, background vocals, drums, electric guitars, acoustic guitars, and so much more, all loaded, available to you so that you can open up this session in your own environment. You can take a listen to the mixing decisions that I made. You can take a look at all the plugins that I have in place, and you can make them fit your needs, because I generally find that's the best way to learn how to use the program. Open up someone else's session, see what they did, and then try to adapt it to your own use case scenario. So when you get the Home Studio Pro mix template, it is also going to come with the song session Nothing Less. You can load those audio tracks and have fun mixing on your own. And then anytime you go to create a new song in Fender Studio Pro, you'll have an option to open up the user template for Home Studio Pro, a template by Chris Green. You can open that up and start creating music today, again, using all stock plugins. So if you're interested in picking up my mixing template, Home Studio Pro, that will be linked below this video. Next is also a plugin from FabFilter. This is called Pro Q3. I believe we're also up to Pro Q4, so you can see an updated version of this plugin if you're interested. I find that the Q3 is doing everything that I need it to do. This is more of a surgical EQ. This is not something that I would want to boost frequencies with. If you're boosting frequencies with the FabFilter Pro Q3, just know that it's kind of meant to be more of a surgical, transparent equalizer. I'm using this more to notch out frequencies and to remove things that are just getting in the way. So that may come just in the form of adding a high pass filter and coming up and maybe adding a dynamic EQ on the high end to almost act as a de-esser. So I'm looking as this first stage of EQ. I've already gated everything. I've gain staged everything. Now I'm just looking to notch out some frequencies. So that's what my intended use of this Pro Q3 is. Then we come into compressor world. If you've seen any of my videos where I mentioned kind of our live mixing setup, I really love using the distressor. So this is a universal audio native plugin. I would encourage you to look for sales on these plugins. Universal Audio used to charge hundreds of dollars for these plugins, and now they're just like super cheap. They're about as cheap as the Waves plugins as far as price goes. Sound quality wise, I don't think they can be beat by the stock plugin. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but I'm looking at these three plugins, these three compressors, as my distressor being just the workhorse, like Swiss Army knife. If I only had one compressor, I'm going to go for the distressor, because I believe the distressor gives you enough options that you can get it to achieve whatever you're looking for from the other ones as well. So I'll start with the distressor to kind of act as my tool of shaping the sound. And then these other two, the 1176 from Universal Audio and then the LA2A, those are more about tonality. So at this point, this juncture of compression, I'm actually looking for these to kind of impart a little bit of vibe, to give some texture to the sound, not necessarily just compress the signal. Now, I do have all 3 of these loaded, but it is unlikely I would have all 3. I may not even have 2 of them engaged. It just depends on what the signal is. So if I'm compressing a vocal, I may use the distressor and have it set to a quick setting so I can catch all of those transients. And then I may not have the 1176. I may just enable the LA2A. So I'm going to go through here, and as you can see on the left with the inspector tool, I'm just going to enable certain plugins, and just by having this little power on, power off button, very handy. I can simply just leave the plugins out that I don't want to be using whatsoever. So the 1176 is going to have that aggressive, I think a bit more, it's like a rock and roll, like really edgy compressor, if I can say that. It does have a little bit of grit to it. The LA2A is an optical compressor. It's going to be slower, and it's going to have more of, I want to say, a silky, transparent kind of thing going for it. Great on vocals and bass guitar as well. Now, after I compress the signal, I want to tame some of the harshness that comes through compression, and that's where the Soothe plugin comes in. I just recently upgraded from Soothe 2 to Soothe 3. I'll be letting you know maybe in a future video my thoughts on Soothe 3, but Soothe 2 I've used for years and years, and it definitely does what it says it does. It just seems to be like magic. It takes whatever sounds harsh and it tames that stuff to make it sound luscious, if I could say that. So it's acting as if it's a de-esser. I'd prefer to use this over just a basic de-esser. To me, the de-esser can easily get out of hand, but what this does behind the scenes, it really works to maintain the integrity of your signal, but then it just tames some of that harshness. So if I'm working with cymbals or a vocal that just has too many S's, there's tons of presets you can use here. The new Soothe 3 seems to be a little bit more intelligent. I'll get to that in a future video, but Soothe is basically acting as my de-esser after compression. Last but not least is going to be the Pultec EQ. This is another one from Universal Audio. I'm using the native version of these. The EQ here is really just meant for hype. So with this plugin, I'm looking to boost my highs and my lows to basically give me that hyped sound. This isn't necessarily the same as like a Pro Q3. Pro Q3 is very surgical. You're going to get in, you're going to be able to notch out all these problematic frequencies. The Pultec is more of like a broad, you're just kind of adding some sizzle to your signal. So I may come in here and add the high frequency content maybe at 12K or 10K. I may do a little attenuation and boosting. I can attenuate at 5K to basically act like a de-esser, but I can boost up in the high range. And then the lows, you can do this trick where you attenuate and boost at the same signal. I may roll it up to 60 hertz and then give it a more broad frequency. So that may be kind of typical use of the Pultec. That's going to be my last plugin as far as my basic chain goes. And then, of course, I'll say this with both of these preset effects chains, that the effects chains are essentially just meant to save me time. This is not meant to just be an end all, like just set it and forget it situation. It will depend on what you're recording and the content. But I generally find that having my gain stage, my tuning in place first and foremost, using a gate plugin to kind of clean up the signal. Then I'm going to use this EQ plugin to carve out problematic frequencies. Then I can have fun with compression, starting to add a little bit of style to it. Then I'm going to soothe, tame off some of that stuff that came through the compressor, that little harshness that tends to happen. And then my last bit of EQ is really just to give it a little bit of shine now that we've polished things up. Now from then, you can go through and set up your effects chains as far as reverbs, chambers, delays, anything like that. I'm going to set up on its own bus. I'm not necessarily going to put those directly onto my channel because that can get rather messy. Now, like I've said, I do have a free gift available to you. It's over on my website, heychrisgreen.com. At the top of the page, I have what's called my Pure Maple Kit. This is a drum samples pack that's recorded here in my home studio using nothing but raw drum sounds. There are no external samples being added to this, and that is free for you to download. At the top of my website, heychrisgreen.com, just simply put in your email address. That'll add you to the newsletter, and the first email you receive will be my Pure Maple Kit available for you to download. Those are drum samples, and then also some presets available to you as a Fender Studio Pro user, Presonus Studio One user, Ableton Live, or Logic Pro. I've got presets available to you, and that is all available at heychrisgreen.com. Go check it out. So that covers the third-party plugins. Let's take a look at the stock plugins. These are ones that come default if you're using Fender Studio Pro, and I've also included some plugins that are available with Presonus Studio One. So if you're still on version 7 or version 6 of Studio One, these should be available to you as well. So very much similar to the third-party plugin list. I'm starting with the tuner plugin so I can keep my guitars and basses in tune as I'm recording. The mix tool plugin is ready to go whenever I need it. VU meter, I've got set to 18 on the scale, so I make sure my gain stage is in place. Now, I did add this. This is from Fender Studio Pro, the latest update, which I believe is version 8.1. They've added their own version of auto-tune, essentially. So this is a vocal tuning app. I do have this available, just ready to go. Again, if I'm building this off of stocks, I will use this plugin. If I'm going to use third-party, I'll probably go in and use Melodyne to kind of finally tune things in place. But I do like that they included that in the latest update of Fender Studio Pro. Then I have the Fender Studio Pro Gate plugin. You also have this available as Studio One as well. Gate plugin, essentially just muting things when they don't need to be heard, especially on tom tracks. And then we have the Pro EQ, which is from Fender Studio Pro, also available Presonus Studio One. There are multi-band dynamics built into this that you can make use of as well. For instance, if I want to add this plugin here, I can add maybe a boost right here, and instead of it being something like this, I can click the D button to go into dynamic mode. I can lower the threshold, lower the range, and now this will be acting as a compressor at that point. So right now I've got it set to 167 hertz. So every time there is something that crosses the threshold at 167 hertz, I'll be compressing it, and then I'm also boosting at the same time. So you can get some advanced features with the Pro EQ, but by and large, I would say this is very similar to Pro Q3 from FabFilter in that I'm not looking for this to add tone. I'm using this more like a surgical thing to go through and craft out problematic areas. Then we're going to move into compressor world, just the built-in standard compressor from Presonus Studio One or Fender Studio Pro. Just going to use it very much as it is. I don't find that it has a vibey sound. So whereas the 1176 and the LA2A are kind of giving this like old analog vibe to it, this is still very much very bland and surgical. Doesn't mean that's necessarily a bad thing, but how you use it, you might want to keep that in mind. Now I've added the Multiband Dynamics plugin. This is for Fender Studio Pro users. There's also a version of this available for Presonus Studio One users on version 7. Multiband Dynamics, it's just giving me, if the compressor plugin wasn't able to do what I wanted it to do, I can throw in this Multiband Dynamics that can act as a de-esser, or I can really craft the signal how I want it to be, because a Multiband Dynamic is a compressor that targets certain frequencies only and leaves certain frequencies uncompressed. Then we have the de-esser plugin. Like I've said before, the de-esser plugin can easily turn things that are very sibilant into kind of like a lispy sound. So you got to be very careful when you're using a de-esser plugin, just to make sure you're not over de-essing, because then it can sound like you have a lisp. Then I'm adding this EQ plugin at the end so that I can boost frequencies if I want to go for that hyped sound. So that would be my stock plugins preset. I'll show you how I've got this thing loaded. So once you have your channel set up, whether you're on the mix tab here, you can open up the mix tab if you'd like to see a more expanded view. I'm going to go over to the top. And so on my stock plugins effects chain, I'm going to click this little drop down arrow, and I'm going to go to Store Effects Chain. When you click Store Effects Chain, it's going to ask you to name it. So I've given this a name for my stock plugins. Description is my go-to stock plugins, and I've given it a subfolder with my name, so I can see Chris Green whenever I go to add it. So here I've got it already loaded as CG stocks. If you update your effects chain and you want to update the master effects chain, just simply click the drop down arrow, go to replace effects chain, and then it'll have the name of whatever one is there. Same thing can be said. These are my go-to plugins. So CG default FX, that tells me that is my default effects chain, and that has all of my favorites loaded to it. So whenever I'm adding a new track, if I click T on the keyboard, I'm going to add a new vocal track. I can go to effects chain. I can click this drop down menu, go to Chris Green, and now I've got a choice between my default FX or CG stocks, and I can load those as needed. Well, thank you for watching this video. If you're interested in learning more about Presonus Studio One or Fender Studio Pro, I want to encourage you to hit the like and subscribe buttons for more videos just like this. And then here on the screen, there are going to be some more videos that YouTube is recommending for you to check out. So be sure to check those out. Make sure you go to my website, heychrisgreen.com, get your access to Pure Maple Kit today, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.